Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of videos. It's day number 9 of solving a chess puzzle every single day of 2024, and here we have our 9th puzzle, our 9th day. The particular puzzle is called Eluding the Pins, the pin shadow. So here we have this position. It's black to move. Try and see if you can solve the position first. Let me know in the comments what your particular solution is, or start writing in the comments what you think it will be, and then watch the video, see if you're correct, and if you're correct, let me know in the comments below. Or if you're not correct, at least tell me why, what you did wrong, or what you didn't see in this particular position. Okay, so as I say, it's black to move in this particular position. There's a few things to note, and as I say, the particular puzzle is called Eluding the Pin Shadow. So the first thing that you hopefully should have spotted is the fact that this pawn here, whilst it is forking both a bishop and a pawn, and it's threatening to take this bishop here, you can't do that as well. The problem with this is you'll just lose a queen here on c7. Other things to maybe notice in the position, maybe this bishop, quite a strong bishop, but can't really do a huge amount on this position. So actually this particular bishop is irrelevant to this position. So really, when we're trying to solve these tactics, we use what we like to call our CCT, so checks, captures, threats. Now in this position there are no legal checks available for white here, but there are a few captures. We've got these couple of captures here. There's also this taking here of the rook, but we can probably quickly see that the rook move is not going to be very good. And taking this bishop, as we saw already, would lose our queen on c7. The same goes for taking this pawn. The queen captures here. And okay, you might have an idea of moving the pawn here, maybe threatening to promote. But the rook just simply slides over. You're still up materially. So just to show you that very quickly, something like this, white is still doing well. In fact, if this pawn were to push, let's say promote to a queen, you will still be up materially here as white, because you've only sacrificed a rook but taken their queen in the process. So going back to our initial position, so this is where we need to start using our threats, and the threat that we have at our disposal is the fact that this bishop is under attack. And you may also notice in this position that white has got a loose piece, and that is this rook here on e1. It's got nothing next to it to defend it. So that's why the solution to this particular problem is the move queen to a5, and this has a simple forking threat with the fact that we've got two different threats going on. We've got the threat to take this bishop, and the rook is also hanging on e1. Doesn't matter what white does in this position. Let's say he tries to save the bishop, we pick up the rook, and if, let's say, he tries to defend the rook with maybe a king move over here, for example, we can take this bishop, and okay, white can recapture back, but he's now down materially in this position. In fact, we could even start taking this pawn, and it's quite awkward for white to react to this particular threat as it comes to a check, and our bishop is still really dominant down this particular diagonal. So that is the solution to this one. Not much more to it. Let's have a look at American Chess Magazine puzzle. Okay, so here we have the second puzzle in this video today. The stipulation is this: it is white to move and to checkmate black in only 2 moves. So pause the video, see if you can solve it, but let's go through this particular solution. Okay, so these particular puzzles, as you may have already witnessed or experienced already on this channel, are particularly difficult. Any checkmate in 2 composition tends to have a very hard, difficult to spot solution, even though they seemingly looked easy in the sense that you only need to find the checkmate in only 2 moves, but it's easier said than done. So here in this position, I should mention white is going up the board, black is going down the board. Quite often people forget that in compositions like this. And well, essentially it looks as though white is, as I say, completely winning, but it's difficult for him to be able to deliver the checkmate in 2. You might be tempted to throw in some captures here, but unfortunately this time round our CCT method doesn't quite work, in the sense that our checks are not going to be normally the starting solution. So if you thought about maybe throwing in a check with this queen here, for example, well, the problem is it releases the defense here on e5, and the king is going to be able to escape and survive a few more moves. So going back, also what doesn't work, throwing in this check here, the knight just recaptures and everything is fine. And any other checks, let's say bishop here, don't quite work. Black has got a couple moves here that I think work. Maybe something like bishop to d5 seems to do fine and blocks this particular check and blocks the threat. And white is not going to be able to checkmate in 2 moves here. So, what do we do instead in these positions? Well, and often what I like to do when I try and solve this is first work out what are the black king's escape squares. So right now, there are no escape squares around the black kings. Every piece is either its own piece or it's being guarded by maybe one of white's pieces. And once I've worked that out, all I need to know is, okay, I need to get some sort of check on the second move that will lead to a checkmate, and at least attack on these light squares. Now, there is only one piece apart from the queen that can attack on these light squares, and that's this bishop here. And right now, this bishop's not doing a huge amount. It's being hemmed in by this pawn. And also this bishop over here is not doing a huge amount either. So we have one move in this position that's going to make these 2 bishops quite useful and also make this rook useful, because really at the moment this rook's not doing a huge amount. Yes, it's defending this knight, but it's not. It doesn't. This knight didn't need defending already because this other knight was there guarding it already. So that's why the solution in this is actually quite a surprising capture. It is the move rook takes here on c4. Now, it should be pointed out here that some of you might have thought about the move rook to e4, and we'll have a look at that solution in just a sec, because it looks like it does the same thing. But rook takes here on c4 is a solution because now if the pawn were to capture here on c4, you can now throw in this move, queen takes on f7. This comes with checkmate. The difference in this position is now, before if you imagine when we had the queen taking here, the king could escape up this escape square. But now with the rook capturing, so just going back to here, with the rook capturing on c4, you can now take here with, You can now take here with checkmate, because now the bishop is has an uncovered defense on this e5 square, sealing in black's fate on e6. Now, there's some other particular moves that don't work in this position. Obviously, things like bishop blocking here, trying to do something that's going to lead to the same thing. Other moves that don't work in this position. Let's try a check. Again, kind of fails to black's capture here on f6. And other moves that don't quite work. Oh, I also have a try of rook to g2, because I think a lot of you might think that might be a stingy defense, because it's pinning this rook here on, it's pinning the rook to the queen. But here, actually, we can play the move rook to e4, and this is the only way to checkmate. The point being here is now this rook is not got in the way of the queen, but it's uncovered this check here, but it's blocking, interestingly enough, this bishop from accessing this d5 square, which we saw earlier as not being a way to checkmate the black king. Now it brings us to our final point, and why is rook to e4 not the winning move here? Because it looks like it does the same thing. The difference here is now rook to g2 actually works here now, as it prevents white from being able to deliver a checkmate here because of the pin. And if we move the rook back to, let's say, g4, this is obviously not a check. And even if, let's say, we try and throw in a check here, black has got some responses to it, and we're not going to be able to checkmate in only 2 moves. So a really interesting solution. As I say, a really beautiful solution with the rook coming here to e4, sorry. I hope you're able to solve it. If you weren't, as I say, let me know in the comments, and hopefully I'll get some more puzzles from the American Chess Magazine. I've not been able to access all of their things, but I'll try and see if I can get it over the next few days. Thank you to TD Geek for sharing that with me as well, to be able to access this particular puzzle, and hopefully maybe he might be able to help me on some of the others. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.